Good morning, my friends. We're back on Cubcam TV. It's Brekky In The Cave. Kicking off with a little special something from Bert Cope. Exclusive business, this one. How are we all feeling this morning? Loads of stuff on the way. Gonna let you know in just a second. Yeah, this one fresh from Bert Cope, going by the name of Wanted. Got loads of sleep last night. I was asleep by 2. What? Out to my early morning locked in crew, of course, as per, let us know where you're locking in from. I'm enjoying this show at the moment, I've got to say. Got some wicked guests on the way. Gonna let you know all about those in just a second. There we go. That one coming from Bert Cope, going by the name of Wanted. What a way to start the show off. We are live on Cubcam TV. It's Brekky In The Cave. It's been a fantastic start to the week show-wise. Had a very moving show yesterday with Danny and Funcase joining us. It was a good one. Definitely one I'd recommend listening back to. Some very interesting and relevant points being discussed. As well as that, obviously, we've had some new content drop on the channel over the last few days. We've got another Drill Around the World video dropping today as well. So, yeah, loads of good stuff on the way. And just in general, the channel's popping off. You know, we're going up nearly 6 followers a day at the minute. So that's the sort of long-term aim, is to keep up that rate of growth, that rate of progression, and really turn this place into a platform that we can use and utilize to really showcase UK music more than anything else. As well as that, we are going to soon be joined by an additional DJ on the station who will be doing his show through this channel, which I'm going to let you know more about as more gets confirmed. It's near enough all the way there. I've been talking to him for the last few days about it, but there will be another live show being done here on Cubcam TV within the next couple of weeks. So you'll see more about that very, very soon. As well as that, we've got loads of little bits of news to talk about this morning. We're going to be looking into where are my panels. There we go. We're looking at the Nando stores that are reopening. We're also looking at Premier League stadium zones alongside the TV schedule. We've looked at the TV schedule already, but we're going to be looking at what stadiums games are going to be played in. As well as that, we're going to be looking into a Drake Nike Air Force One collaboration. Whether it's a rumor or not, we're not entirely sure yet, but there we go. Some interesting bits of news to discuss. As I said before, please do share the show if you're locking in. We're going to keep it nice and entertaining for you this morning. We've got loads of bangers to play. I've got to say, loads of good new music, which is going to be very enjoyable indeed. As well as that, of course, we've got 2 very special guests, which I haven't mentioned yet. So there we go. We're going to be joined by TBaze first. He's going to be on the line with us from around 10:30. We're going to be looking into his musical roots, some of the new bits he's been creating. He's got a really, really solid following, TBaze, who seem to really love everything he does. So I'm going to be keen to talk to him about that, establishing a following, how Instagram is crucial these days and how he utilizes it quite well. And then, yeah, that should be a good start to the morning. As well as that, we're going to be jumping on the line with my brother, my broski, my good friend and business partner, Josh Gunston. We're going to be talking to him about his brand new project that he's been bubbling up over the last week or so, and also we are going to be talking to him regarding artist branding. So this is something that I know a few of you will be locking in for. Specifically, he's going to be giving us some do's and don'ts of artist branding. Obviously, he's been working now as an artist manager within the UK bass scene for just under 5 years. Been absolutely smashing it with his artists. You know who all of his artists are. You may not know they're managed by him, but everyone will know his artists. It's one of those ones. They're pretty well established at this point. So there we go. Should be an interesting show. There should be loads of good stuff on the way. So as I said before, let's get interactive. Let us know where you're looking in from this morning. Jump into the chat on the right-hand side and say hi if you would like to. And as well as that, yeah, let's get into some new bangers. So this one got sent over to me yesterday. This one coming from an artist called Emro. Really cool tune, this one. Something a little bit different, quite electronic-y, but definitely something I'm keen to support. This one goes by the name of Who I'll Be Tonight. So don't go anywhere, guys. We're live on Cubcam TV. It's Brekky In The Cave. Let's get sharing the show.
In my dreams I keep running back to your feet. I can't seem to believe that you're not for me, but my heart says I'll just keep holding on. But now my days keep blowing into war. Through the day I've been learning how to pave my way, creating new grooves and getting over you. But my mind says to yourself, just keep holding tight. But nearer the end of the day, I'm dreading who I'll be tonight.
Super smooth tune, this one coming from Emro. Who I'll Be Tonight. Wicked piece of music, this one. Going to be keeping in touch for sure. Really cool tune, this one coming from Emro. You know what? Let's get him one of those. Let's get him one of the glass fashes that I love to use now on this show. Good fun indeed, good fun. Right then, that one, really cool tune. Really definitely going to be keeping in contact with her. She sent me over an EP full of similar material, so I'm going to be keeping up to date and seeing what else is in the bag, to be honest with you, because I think that's a very unique take on UK electronic sort of singer-songwriter styles, and there's some really interesting themes in there. So yeah, good start to the show, I believe. Obviously, we like to keep the playlisting on this show as fresh as possible. Usually a tune will probably get played like once or twice and then we'll move on to the next one, because obviously we're now having 2 guests a day. It means we only really have time to play 4 or 5 bits in the morning, so I want to keep it as fresh and rotational as possible. Now, speaking of fresh and rotational, I don't know, do Nando's do rotisserie chicken? I'm not too sure, but they're reopening 61 more branches this week for delivery and collection around the UK. So let's have a little look at this then. Just weeks after reopening a whole heap of its branches, Nando's has now unveiled plans to open a further 61 restaurants for delivery and collection this week. The reopening of 61 stores this week will take the total number of Nando's open in the country to 216. It's a lot of Nando's, I've got to say. Nando's closed all its restaurants back in March due to the COVID outbreak, but has gradually reopened them since the end of April. To ensure social distancing among staff, the restaurant chain is currently running a reduced menu, whilst also the option to eat in is still unavailable. So let's have a little look at the... I mean, this is saying on here, click here to see if you're on the list, but it doesn't have a list. Well, how useless is that? Don't you hate it when stuff does that? When it says click here for this, and then you go there and it's like, oh, there's terms and conditions and all this other stuff, and it isn't what you actually wanted to click on. So aggravating. This has cost me a news nugget and all of your patience, and I apologise. I apologise wholeheartedly for the pure dim-wittery of Nando's in that situation. I tell you what, instead, let's have a little look at this. Because McDonald's are set to reopen some branches for walk-in customers. Jesus, this is where we are. McDonald's has announced that it will be opening 11 of its stores at selected road chef service stations as part of a trial to see if it can jumpstart its business following the months of lockdown. These branches will reopen on June 17th, with plans to gradually roll out high street cities and town centres across the UK from June the 24th. Confirming the news, McDonald's UK and Ireland CEO Paul Pomeroy said, over the last 4 weeks, we have carefully opened over 1,000 restaurants for drive-through or McDelivery, only progressing to new channels and more restaurants when we were confident that we could provide a safe working environment for our people. Following a closed test in London last month, I'm pleased to confirm that we will be reopening takeaway and click and collect. Okay, fair enough. That's still walking. I mean, as long as people aren't sat down, I think that's the issue. Maybe they are sat down. I'm going to carry on reading this. Starting on Wednesday the 17th, in 11 road chef service stations, they'll be basically welcoming motorway users back inside our restaurants for the first time since March. Oh no, they are letting people in. We're taking our time to get this right, reviewing our processes before we gradually roll out high streets, town, city centres from June the 24th onwards. As part of the move, the fast food chain says that as a series of safety measures get deployed into the different places, they want to make sure customers are staying safe within the limit of a number of customers allowed in at one time. One-way systems, no seating, and toilets will remain closed. Okay, fair enough. No seating. Interesting. When you visit us for takeaway, we will welcome you inside with when the space becomes available, and we'll ask you to sanitize your hands at the cleaning stations we are introducing at all restaurants. Okay, cool. Interesting. I mean, I still think, personally, I think it's a little bit early to be cramming people into a McDonald's, but I think the issue won't be in the restaurant. It'll be in the queue. It'll be in the queue when people are outside, like all bunched up next to each other, and I think that could well be the actual issue with this one. But there we go. We're going to crack on now and play some more good music for you all. I had a little look around at some new bits yesterday. This one coming to us from Maccabee and Aisha. Really cool tune, this one. Fresh reggae music here on Cubcam TV. So don't go anywhere. It's Brekky In The Cave.
Me cry for some of the youths living in poverty and destitute, on the streets in the dead of the night, out of sight. It's not right.
At night, when all the world is safe within their dreams, I walk their shadow.
It's not fair. Nobody seems to care.
Late at night, an empty feeling creeps within my soul. I feel so lonely.
Innocent children living a life of solitaire.
So I go into the darkness of the night, all alone. I walk the streets until I find someone who is just like me.
Me cry for the youths.
Looking for some company. Children of the night.
What them a do to the children, to the children? Lord, what them a do to the children?
Out to my locked in crew this morning.
Children to the children.
Good to see you all floating around.
My do to the children. It make you all, I make you ball. See Seem like them not care about the children at all.
Send us a signal. Let us know where you're locked in from. Should be a good show.
Can't you hear them a call? Me a tell you no the truth. Me cry for the youth at the mercy of the vampires and the brute. People of disrepute, they are in pursuit, befriending the youth, leading them down some dirty road. Under the cover of darkness, the youths are exposed to the wicked and the heartless. All alone with no one to protect them, wondering why did society reject them. These words must be spoken. The only way to solve a problem is to get it in the open. Yet another victim of the system, it's a sin. Lord, what a thing. What kind of world are we living in?
Children of the night.
What them a do to the children, to the children? Lord, what them a do to the children? What them a do to the children, to the children? Look what them a do to the children. The governments can't deny, cause you know say them a spy, but them just a turn a blind eye. Somebody please tell me why they're ignoring the cry of the little youths. Why are they walking on bye-bye? It's happening round the world, little boys, little girls, they're crying out, but nobody here. Everybody it's
The itchy eye's back.
and serene. Their dreams while the youth is in a nightmare. It's got to be a wicked society who don't make the children a priority.
All alone,
That is their reality. Forced to engage in some criminality. It is insanity. It's a big, big disgrace to the whole of humanity. Forced to live a life of pure misery. They never see no luxury. Can't you see there should never be?
children of the night.
What them a do to the children, to the children?
Children of the night.
What them a do to the children, to the children?
Children of the night.
What them a do to the children, to the children?
Children of the night.
From Brazil to Mexico to Atlanta, America. From Europe to Australia to Asia to Africa.
Wicked tune, this one. Sounds of Maccabee and Aisha. Perfect way to kick off the show. It's going to be a good one, man. I'm looking forward to today's guest. It's going to be a really cool mix and blend of styles, themes, and conversation. Obviously, we're going to be talking to TBaze. Obviously, he's coming with a very unique kind of Afrobeat sound, which I'm really looking forward to diving into, looking at the roots of, obviously looking at sort of studio techniques and processes. As well as that, we're going to be talking to Josh, who obviously knows exactly what's going down with music branding. So we're going to be looking into do's and don'ts, some nifty tricks you can kind of do to establish yourself as an artist. And I know there's going to be a fair few people listening in who really want to get hold of those tips and tricks. And Josh is going to spill a few of them for you guys this morning. So there we go. Keeping the show fresh, you know. It's been a good week so far. And there's still some wicked shows on the way. We've got a really, really solid triple header tomorrow. We're going to be joined by Taylor J, Livesy, and Azaria. Going to be a wicked selection. Then Friday, of course, we've got Will Winter on, who's going to be discussing sort of UK fashion and a couple of other bits as well. So yeah, it should be a good start to the week. Thank you all for locking in this morning. It's been fun so far, playing some fresh bangers. Let's jump into this then. Drake, the man himself, reportedly releasing an OVO crossover with Nike Air Force One. So, interesting. Would you buy an OVO Air Force One? To be honest, my favourite shoe ever is the high top white Air Force One. That's literally my favourite shoe of all time. Don't know why. I don't know if there's like some other reason behind that, but realistically, for me, that's my favourite of the bunch. So, yeah. Fans of OVO and Nike are in for a treat, apparently, as rumours are swirling that a collaboration between the two is in the works in the form of an Air Force One trailer. Okay, fair enough. Yesterday, we saw Z Sneakerheads report on an OVO and Nike Air Force One trainer dropping in 2021. While Complex have since said sources aren't aware of Nike's upcoming releases and have confirmed a 2021 collab, but the magazine couldn't independently confirm it would be an Air Force One. The rumoured partnership between Nike and Drake doesn't come as a complete surprise given the Canadian star's history with Nike. In 2013, Drake signed with Jordan, a subsidiary of Nike, before nearly striking a deal with Adidas, which never materialised after the brand caught up in the beef between Pusha T and Drizzy. So, there we go. Since then, we have seen Drake sporting a range of Nike gear in recent times, even informally pledging his allegiance to the brand on Travis Scott's Sicko Mad, where he said, check over stripes. Is that allegiance to Nike checks over stripes? What's that? Fair enough. I thought it was something else, but there we go. However, in new rumours, if the new rumours turn out to be true, we can expect to see an official partnership between Drake and Nike next year. So very interesting stuff indeed. Should be. It should look quite good if it does actually materialise. I mean, Drake tends to be quite fresh in what he puts together. All the OVO merch tends to look quite good as well. So he's got an eye for fashion. So it should be interesting to look at as we go forward. Next up, we're going to keep the good vibes rolling this morning as I look through my my box of tunage. This one coming from Jabenga, going by the name of Sleep. Really cool UK garage tune, this one. I'm really looking forward to it. So don't go anywhere. It's Brekky In The Cave. Oh, yes.
When I'm on your mind, do you think of me when you go to sleep? I got pee on my mind, restless, sometimes I get no sleep. I've been missing you loads, when it's been long we get no sleep. Home is where your heart is, I wanna lay with you and sleep. When I'm on your mind, do you think of me when you go to sleep? I got pee on my mind, restless, sometimes I get no sleep. I've been missing you loads, when it's been long we get no sleep. Home is where your heart is, I wanna lay with you and sleep.
Out to the man like JD Samdi. How are you doing this morning, my friend? It's good to see you.
No other girl on earth like you that I'm invested. I get scared that this might
What time is it over there?
be interested. I keep my thoughts to myself when I overthink.
Out to the locked in crew, of course. Let us know where you're locking in from. I like a bit of conversation in the morning, guys. Come on, come say hi.
In the dark, I know it's more than chance. Scattered lights dissecting faces, I still saw your glance. It's hard times in the present that make you think of the past. Stretch an hour over a minute, make a second last. When I'm on your mind, do you think of me when you go to sleep? I got pee on my mind, restless, sometimes I get no sleep. I've been missing you loads, when it's been long we get no sleep. Home is where your heart is, I wanna lay with you and sleep. When I'm on your mind, do you think of me when you go to sleep? I got pee on my mind, restless, sometimes I get no sleep. I've been missing you loads, when it's been long we get no sleep. Home is where your heart is, I wanna lay with you and sleep.
Out to JD Samdi saying it's 2:22 over there. This one's for you then. No sleep. Sounds of Jabenga on this one. Wicked tune. Futuristic UKG flavours. That's what I'm talking about. There we go, wicked flavours on that one, coming from Jabenga, going by the name of Sleep. Wicked tune. Out to the locked-in crew this morning. It's been very fun to see all of you join in. As I've said before, if you're new to the channel, please do hit subscribe. We do stream here live Monday to Friday through from 10 till 11:30, sometimes through to 12 as well. We've got a couple of triple shows on the way, so we will be streaming through till 12. But yeah, loads of exciting stuff on the way for the channel. Loads of new reaction videos as well. So if you're a fan of any of the different genres we're playing and the different sounds we bring into you and the different guests we bring on, please do hit subscribe and of course hit like on the video. Now I know everyone locked in right now, it'll take you less than half a second to hit like on the video, so do us a favor, click like right this second. Anyway, yeah, of course, a little word out to our sponsors, out to of course Sharp and Digital, who do represent the channel quite nicely. They help me out with a lot of the digital side of things. One of the reasons the channel is now doing so well is because of their help they gave me early on. So yeah, there you see, the alternative to hiring social media managers, the official sponsor of Brekky In The Cave. Of course as well, you can check out the show via the podcast, which is available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and SoundCloud as well. The show goes up usually within about an hour of it finishing. No music, of course. It just bops down to the text. So if you're interested in the news and the interview side of things, you can check it out there. And you can check out myself, obviously, on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and, of course, SoundCloud as well. And that is all under the title of @KXVU. Did you see how good the timing was on that? Whew, I think I'd do this for a day job. But there we go. There to do today's two guests. We're going to be jumping onto the phone with man like TBaze in just a second. But for the time being, we're going to be jumping into this bit of news here. Basically, plans have been revealed for a £3.5 billion pound theme park dubbed UK Disneyland. Now, this is interesting. A new theme park will be dubbed the UK's Disneyland, which has now entered the stages of public consultation with incredible plans showing what it will look like in the future. And I tell you what, it does look pretty spicy. I mean, I can only see one ride, so... This is the thing. Is Disneyland a place you go for rides? Because I remember going to Disneyland Paris when I was younger, and I thought most of the rides were absolutely dreadful. But I don't know if that's just me. I remember being sat in this massive white tent for breakfast, and there being like 1,000 people in this tent. I remember that. I'd hate to do breakfast service as a Disneyland one morning. That'd be hectic. But yeah, set to open in 2024. The 3.5 billion site London resort aims to be one of the largest construction projects across Europe, having been billed as the largest theme park on the continent to be built from the ground up since Disneyland Paris in 1992. So there we go. This is going to be wow, very interesting. The theme park will be located in Swanscombe in Kent, just 17 minutes train from St Pancras Station. Wow. So you can go to St Pancras and it's just 17 minutes. That's pretty good. How does it take longer to drive to Thorpe Park from Brighton, or to go to St Pancras and get a 17-minute tube? Because it means if you can get there by train and then get the tube, that will probably be easier. But yeah, it will even feature rides based on Paramount films and shows from the BBC and ITV, following a deal being struck with Paramount Studios. Hang on, they're doing theme rides based on the BBC. What, Luther? Do a Sherlock themed ride. I mean, to be fair, you could do a Doctor Who themed ride. That's definitely something I'm surprised hasn't happened yet, which it must have happened, surely. But there we go. The website reads, when complete, it will be 3 times larger than any other park in the UK. 2 theme parks and a water resort park will be set over 535 acres, the equivalent of 136 Wembley stadiums. That's an absolute madness. That's huge. Like, genuinely enormous. That's mad. But there we go. There's more information available online. And yeah, that's going to be coming soon. The plans currently say that the different places available on the show are the studio, the woods, the kingdom, the Isles, the jungle, Starport, and the high streets. There we go. Interesting things. And just 1 second before we crack on, I've just had a very heartwarming message from a good friend of mine who was suffering with testicular cancer, and he has now been cured, officially cured. He's just got the go-ahead from today that he's all better. So, well, fantastic stuff. Shouts to you, my friend. Good stuff. That's what we're here to do. Glass smashes, explosions, you get all of those. Fantastic news. What a good bit of news to start the day off. Out to Quentin McBullwinkle. Fantastic name. Keep doing your thing, boss man. The show is sick. Thank you, sir. Thanks for locking in. I appreciate you. And thank you to those who listened to my brief message about hitting the like button. I can see there's still more of you that haven't. It takes less than a second to hit that like button, so do us a favor. Just hit the like button now. You can see do it. There you go. Good stuff. Thank you. Let's jump into this one then next, coming from Kobe JT and Tough Tracks. This one going by the name of Buster. In a few seconds, we're going to be getting onto the phone with TBaze, so don't go anywhere. It's going to be a wicked interview all around. Right then, my friends, we are live on Cubcam TV. It's Brekky in the Cave. It's just coming up to 1:30. Fantastic start to the show. Out to everyone locked in this morning. I've been looking forward to this interview for a hot minute as the first guest of today joins us. Man like TBaze is on the line. How are you doing this morning, my friend?
Yes, sir. I'm all good. How are you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm excited. I'm in a good mood. It's been a good start to the week. I think I'm looking forward to this interview. Obviously, we've been sort of speaking back and forth over Instagram to get this one in place. Obviously, I think we followed each other off the back of Great Adams coming on my show, and then we've been sort of looking at what each other have been doing since then. So yeah, I'm really excited for this. Let's kind of get a bit of groundwork done on yourself. Then obviously these interviews are quite linear in the way we put them together. We want to kind of get sort of the background, the current, and what's going on in the future. So like take us back to the beginning. Who is TBaze? Just for those that aren't aware.
Okay. Yeah. First of all, thank you for having me on this show. It's amazing being here.
No worries.
Like you said, we've been talking for a while. Okay. So TBaze, I'm an Afrobeat artist, originally from Nigeria. So I make Afrobeat. And I've been doing it. I've been recording for about. Actually, the other day I went to the studio and I went on my old files and I realized that I've actually started recording professionally in 2014.
Okay.
But I didn't actually release anything major until 2017 when I finished uni. The music is just all about feel good vibes, music. Yeah, good vibes, good music. That's it, really.
That's what I like to hear, man. And I think obviously the sound that you come with definitely is one of those more uplifting styles of composition. There's always good energy involved. There's always like always interesting. There's always interesting melodic stuff, interesting percussive stuff going on. Like you said that you were kind of you started back in 2014. Like.
Yeah.
What was the thing that kind of pushed you into that studio environment? What's the thing that made you go, I want to get involved with this?
So like, music has always been. I grew up in Nigeria, and so I came to the UK when I was 16.
Okay, wow.
So yeah, so growing up in Nigeria, like I was exposed to so many variety of music. Like it was so like the same way I was listening to, the Bob like reggae.
Yeah, of course.
I was listening to like Sean Paul, which isn't, I wouldn't say reggae. That's more of dancehall. I was listening to dancehall. I was listening to 50 Cent. I was listening to so many different range of artists. At the same time, I was also listening to Afro artists. It wasn't termed Afro then. It was mainly termed probably like Fuji, Juju, and all of these type of stuff. So I was exposed to a wide range, both locally and internationally. So I've always been interested that way. Then when I think I was 13 or 12, because I was listening to so much music, I wanted to compose something that was mine. I didn't have it in mind to be an artist at that age. But I just wanted to have a song that I would say, that's my song, you know? So I wrote the lyrics or whatever like that, but still it didn't cross my mind to be an artist until when I got to the UK and my friends, like the people I had around me were doing music and stuff like that, but they were rappers. Now I tried to rap, but I was so whack. Like, it was not good at all. And it was not
well, I think being able to come out and say, yeah, I wasn't very good at it, it wasn't for me, right straight from the off's a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, that's the honest truth. So I just wasn't work. So I wrote my lyrics in, and I was singing in more of like an Afrobeat way because that's the type of sound that I've been used to, more of singing, more of melody type of things. So I started doing that. I went to the studio in 2009. It was my friend's studio. No, 2010 actually. It was my friend's studio. So I went there, messed around and stuff like that. And when I look back at the words that I was actually saying, till now I still feel like, wow, like those are powerful words I was using at that time. But, when it comes to musically, it wasn't there.
Yeah, of course.
And stuff like that. But, so I started recording, started taking, and then went to uni, had the opportunity to be around more music, more club performances, more
when you say uni, do you mean, were you studying music at uni, or were you studying something else?
No, so I was studying for undergrad. I was doing sports development, sports coaching and development. So something totally different in music. I did sports at college as well. So I wanted to become a footballer.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, so and then when after a while, I went to uni to do sports coaching because I wanted to become a sport development officer. But anyways, that's another story.
Yes, we could be here all day at this, right? It's good though. It's good.
So basically, so when I went to uni, I was introduced to a producer who's actually he's very known in the UK now. His name is Jojo. He's worked with a lot of music in the charts and stuff like that now. Dino, he worked with Cadet, so rest in peace, and a lot of the UK artists nowadays anyways, and a lot of talented underground artists. It's crazy. But anyways, so worked with Jojo and then started working with him since 2014, and then I met some other person called K, my producer called K Beats, and we started working really and just started making music. But then so I recorded a lot of songs, but I did not release it officially until 2017 when I finished my masters. That's when I knew that, okay, parents are gonna be off my back now. I've done what they wanted me to do. I've passed, got my degree, all of that. And I was like, all right, cool, so I can take it more serious now. So, yeah.
Wicked, man. I mean, how have you found that process then? Obviously, kind of doing it more from a sort of, I don't want to say leisurely, but doing it from a more sort of like, doing it more as a kind of hobby thing to more taking it seriously now. How have you found that transition, obviously, with not having uni there at the same time?
I think everything is always, like, my view of things is like everything is a journey. If I didn't go through that process, I wouldn't be able to. I mean, when you're doing things more leisurely, you don't care. Like you just do whatever you want to do. You're not thinking too much about things, I guess. Like you just doing it like more freely and stuff like that. Now I still do it more freely because it's not like I'm not signed to a record. I'm still free to do but I'm more aware of the direction that I want to go with things.
Of course.
Whereas back then, I would just do it anyhow. In terms of the process, I would say it was when I was doing it at uni. I mean, when I was doing it at uni, I had more time. I wasn't like working and trying to do music at the same time and stuff like that. So there was more freedom to do things. Now, I would say the transition. I mean, the transition has been smooth. It was just a thing of, okay, I have more capacity to do more things now, and I think I know where I want to do now, rather than previously not sure what direction I want to take.
Of course. I mean, so far, obviously, you've spoken a lot about there being so many different influences musically when you were growing up, there being so many different sort of styles of music popping in Nigeria. Like, how many of those, do you reckon most of that has now been soaked up by yourself and you're putting it into your recent creations?
Yes, definitely, 100%. I'm the type of person that if I like someone and I listen to that artist and stuff like that, I'm someone that buy into the mentality of someone also. So it's not just like, so the people that I used to listen to when I was younger, of course I didn't understand the message and the music or what they were saying in the song previously. So even though I might like their songs and stuff like that, when I actually started making music and I started understanding more what the artists are saying and stuff like that, it definitely molds the type of sound that I come out with. It molds my lyrics and the direction I want to take.
Amazing, man. I mean, this is all sick to hear. We're going to jump into the first tune we're going to be running today. We've got 3 bangers to play, so I want to make sure we get through all of them. This one goes by the name of Below. Talk to me about this tune.
Below, I love that song. Okay, so Below is a song, to be honest, when people ask me to talk about this song in particular, it was just a genuine song of good vibes. You know, the question you asked me before actually slightly relates to this song. So what happened was there's an artist in Nigeria called Lagbaja. He's so unique because this guy covers his whole body. Like you don't know who's behind the mask and behind what he's wearing. So it's like a mystical artist, basically, that no one knows. But anyways, he was famous. He's still famous in Nigeria. He made a song called Konko Below, which kind of like, it just means get down, dance, da 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 da. And so I went to the studio one day with my producer K Beats, and we were making a song, da da da. And then he said he had the music idea for a beat. We wanted to work on another project, but he said he had an idea for a beat. So I said, okay, cool, do your idea, 5 minutes, and let's get back to what we're working on. But he started putting that idea down. I liked that idea. And then that song, that Congo Below song came to my head, just like the one word from the song. And then I started repeating the word, below, 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 as he was making the beat. And then he said I should continue doing that because it's helping him to create the beat he's making. Before we know it, I think about an hour later, I was there recording the song, and we finished the song that night. So it was like just pure,
amazing, man.
Good feelings, good vibes, and enjoyment. We were just having fun.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's definitely something that can get lost, I feel, in the sort of grind of music. You can lose that sense of fun of just kind of vibing and getting something out, and actually like that process of literally sitting down, starting a tune that evening, and finishing it that evening. It's amazing.
Yeah. It's a good vibe.
There we go. Cool. Right, we are live on Cubcam TV. Out to all the locked in crew this morning. If it's your first time visiting the channel, please do hit subscribe, and of course hit like on the video as well. Takes 2 seconds to do, so please do it. We're live on the line with TBaze. This one going by the name of Below. Don't go anywhere.
As the beat just they go, we are moving with the flow. As the beat the bang they go, we go to do the go below. See as the beat as he combine them. Lebe, oh yeah, they wine them. More than Nico, just final. Lose up your brain, oh yeah, they find down. Below, 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 below. Just they go, they go. Below, 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 below. Just they go, they go. Below, below. I'll be wanting you tonight, oh. We go seal the deal tonight, oh. You dey sweet me just like mango. I go drop you like tomato. Oh yeah, 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 my bella, my bella, my bella. Oh yeah, 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 my bella, my bella, my bella. Oh yeah, yeah. Below, 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 below. Just they go, they go. Below, 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 below. Just they go, they go. Below, below. It's TBaze, oh. Yeah. Below, 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 below. Just they go, they go. Below, 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 below. Just they go, they go. Below, 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 below. Just they go, they go. Below, 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 below. Just they go, they go. Below, below.
All right then, friends, we're back inside the building. This is Brekky In The Cave. That one going by the name of Below. And as TBaze was saying, just super good vibes, good energy. Fantastic stuff for a breakfast show. I think what I might have to start doing once a week or something is just doing a strict genre breakfast show. And if I do an Afrobeat show, that's definitely getting thrown in right at the start of the track listing. But TBaze joins us on the line right about now. Let's look at what's going on now then with yourself. You're someone who's very active on Instagram.
Yeah.
How essential at this point do you think that activity on Instagram is towards building your following?
So say that question again. I didn't catch that.
As in, like, in regards to your like Instagram presence, you're obviously involved on it a lot. You're on there a lot. How important do you think the regularity of putting new content up is in regards to growing your platform?
Yeah, I think it's super important. I try to be as active as I can be, and I even want to be more active if possible, or as appropriate. But I think it's so essential because as an independent artist, or in whatever you're doing, even if you're a business person or whatever you're doing, your marketing is what puts you out there. And your social media is that marketing tool, is a big marketing tool at the moment, where you can reach out to people for free. Like, for example, if I wasn't using social media, I probably wouldn't have come across you. I probably wouldn't have been doing this interview.
Yeah,
and I think exactly. So it just opens door to reach audience, to interact with your audience. We're lucky the age we're in now, because back then, artists, even if they're signed or independent, they actually physically have to go out there and network. We still have to do that now, but we have social media as an intermediary to put our songs, our thoughts, our action, whatever we're doing out there, so that more people can see.
Definitely, man. I think in general as well, when I kind of look through profiles, I tend to kind of look for like a combination of things. I tend to look for like video content combined with like photo content, and in general just keeping people updated with what you're doing. And you're someone who does like a music video, I've got to say.
I do what?
You do like a music video?
Yeah, I do. I do. I think it's like you said. The world we live in now, we consume things through different means. So either music videos, so you want to see things visually, you want to know about the person's lifestyle, what they like as a person, personality, and then you also want to see their music side of things. So everything combined has to kind of go in that content that you're putting out. So try to do as much as possible. Of course, I'm still trying to learn more and progress and stuff like that.
Yeah, wicked, man. We're going to run quickly through the chat. We've got 3000 Bass inside. How are you doing this morning, my friend? Yaron joins us. Gander is locked in as well. Out to Quentin McBullwinkle with the best name I've seen in years. JD Sam D as well, and all the silent locked in crew. As I said before, if you are locked in, please do send us a signal. Let us know where you're locked in from, and what's going on today with yourself. Let's have a bit of a conversation. We do have TBaze on the line. We're going to obviously try and play as much music as possible. In regards to your sort of studio process now, how have you found things during lockdown in regards to recording?
Recording has been at the start it was a bit difficult because I didn't have a home studio. So when lockdown happened, I was thinking of, okay, I need to record now, but I can't travel, I can't really do anything. So I started like building a home studio. Bought the equipment that's necessary, got some from few friends that do have those equipment and stuff like that. So yeah, and it's all set up now. And everything is running really.
Wicked, man. I mean, I think the most important thing now for an artist who's in the position you are, where you're like you're starting to get that growth, you're starting to really kind of hit a lot of different places, you're starting to hit a lot of different avenues. I think the most important thing for you now, as an artist, is to have consistency in the way you put music together. So to have a bit of a plan and know, right, when I get the idea, I can get it down.
Exactly. Super important. Before I used to have to. Which I still do now, depending on what I have going on. Like, it's important to just have an idea and be able to put it down straight away, because a lot of ideas get lost with time or something like that. Or you have a recording, or you have an idea, a great idea in your head, and let's say 30 minutes later, you're like, oh, how did that melody go? I still remember the words, but not the melody.
Yeah, of course. The most frustrating thing you can have as a musician.
So having that studio there, or being able to either quickly use my phone to record something down, or go onto the studio and record it, and it's amazing. And I'm working on an album at the moment, or an EP at the moment, a body of work. So it's very, very essential that I'm able to put ideas down. I'm able to record my songs, like even if it's just a demo, and then I'll go to the studio to properly record it. But I have to say, it's crazy times. It's crazy times, but it's interesting, and at the same time it helps. It's helped me to actually focus on what I want to do, what direction I want to go, and look inwards more and stuff.
Wicked, man. Well, we're going to jump into another tune next. This one comes from yourself and a real friend of the show, someone who supports the show a lot, Great Adams. How did this link up come together? I'm excited to hear this one.
So Great Adams is a great artist. I met him a while ago. I think I met him in a show performance in Northampton, and we've been friends ever since then. Performed together a couple of times, stuff like that. So, and then I think last year, it was towards the end of last year, I was writing a song. And the song to me was a very, very powerful song because this is a song that was different to anything I've done before. And the song is called Dreams Are Valid. I really think it's a powerful song. And when I was writing the lyrics, I was thinking, okay, I would like to have a feature on this. But I actually sat for a while thinking because like I think I said to you off air, when I said I'm someone that buying into someone's mentality and how they think and stuff like that, the things they've said in the past and stuff. So when I was thinking about the song, I was like, I need to have someone that will be able to understand what I mean, what I'm talking about in the song. And I hollered at Great Adams. Straight away, he was the only person that came to my mind. Like, okay, bro, would you like to feature on this song? Sent him the demo. As soon as he heard it, he was like, yo, this song is mad. That's the word.
That's that. Knowing him, that sounds exactly like how he would react to it, to be honest.
Exactly what he said. He was like, yo, this is mad. And he just kept saying that. And then I went to studio, recorded it. He sent his verse. The producer spoke to him, and his verse was so dope and stuff like that. And we just put the song together. The song was produced by Jojo in Southampton, and it's just about believing in yourself and believing that no matter what you're doing, it might not be working the way you want at that particular time, but just keep at it and believe in yourself, and dreams are 100% valid.
There we go. Wicked stuff. We're going to get into this one now. Don't go anywhere, guys. We are live on Cubcam TV. On the line with TBaze, it's Brekky in the Cave.
It's TBaze once again, oh. Yeah, ooh. Nothing was easy, it's what they told me, but when it comes easy, never complicated. Believe in yourself, you don't need validating. Slowly but surely, you gon' make it. Listen, your dreams are valid. Your dreams are valid, oh. Never shake, no, don't panic. Don't shake, no panic, oh. Up on my grind from the early moment. Got my mind on my money, got money on my mind. See, I won't elevate, but they want in my hand. Business and pleasure, you got to balance. Really, someday me, I know getting back. So many days when I feel all alone. For long we'll be talking, but no understanding. I take all the blames, I'm the imperfect one. Now I'm all up in my zone. Maybe I'm daydreaming, but I saw the ancestors. I remember what they told me. Say I'm all up in my zone. Maybe I'm daydreaming, but I saw the ancestors. This is what they told me. Nothing was easy, it's what they told me. But when it comes easy, never complicated. Believe in yourself, you don't need validating. Slowly but surely, you gon' make it. Listen, your dreams are valid. Your dreams are valid, oh. Never shake, no, don't panic. Don't shake, no panic, oh.
Sometimes when I wake up in the morning, I go ask for help, nobody. I'm running all day, no stopping. Cause I want to make money and I want to get high. I want to fly, I want to reach and touch the sky. Sometimes I do feel alright, sometimes I do want to cry. I don't know why. And everything that I pray for, now I see it clear. They say our dreams are valid, if you know what.
Nothing was easy, it's what they told me. But when it comes easy, never complicated. Believe in yourself, you don't need validating. Slowly but surely, you gon' make it. They say your dreams are valid. Your dreams are valid, oh. Never shake, no, don't panic. Don't shake, no panic, oh.
There we go. We slightly overran that. We had a little bit of a conversation off air, and I was having a great time. But we're going to crack on now. We've got about 5 minutes left, so we're going to quickly wrap up and let you know what's on the way for TBaze in the future, and play one more banger. So, what is on the way for TBaze over the next sort of, let's say, the next 6 months? What's in the pipeline?
So, I mentioned earlier on, I'm working on an album, a body of work. This will be my first ever body of work. So I've released about, should I say, 10, 11 singles since 2017. And, I've been lucky enough to work with so many different people. And I think throughout the journey that I've had so far, I kind of have like a direction that I want to take for this first body of work anyway. And I've recorded all the songs, so everything is ready to go. And I'm just so excited for people to hear it, because this is, it's a great body of work, really.
Awesome.
And just working on that.
Awesome, man. I mean, this is the bit I like to hear about. I like to hear about just before the EPs drop, because when the EP drops, every interview suddenly becomes the same. As soon as you start hearing people going onto the same, like 5 or 6 stations, they say the same thing every single time. I like hearing about stuff just before it happens. That's what we tried to do here on the show. But yeah, man, we've only got a couple of minutes left, so we're going to wrap up in a second. It's been awesome to talk to you this morning. One thing I am going to ask just before we finish up: what is the craziest story you've had on a music video set?
Oh, craziest! Oh, mad. Okay. I just remembered one now. This should I really say on air? Okay. So basically, we went to So basically, I finished. We did a song. I did a song with some really, really dope artists. I think it's 4 of us on the song, so we wanted to do the music video for it. So we traveled, everyone traveled and stuff like that. We got to the location of where we went to do the music video, and one of the artists called. I mean, we were calling him to say, "Where are you at?" Because he's the only person missing. We got worried because he wasn't picking his call for 5 hours, 6 hours. It got to the time where we wanted to sleep. He still wasn't picking up and stuff like that. And then the next day when we called him and spoke to him to say, "Where were you yesterday? We were waiting for you for the music video. You didn't turn up. You just stood us up." He said, "Oh, guys, I got drunk and, I couldn't make the journey anymore, so I went to sleep."
Just like that. I went to sleep. Yep. No explanation. Just I fell asleep.
I was we were all so baffled. Like, what did you just say? Wait, what? Everyone, you what?
Oh man.
Everyone was just so baffled, and since then we just kind of said, you know what? Allow this. We're gonna have to make a decision based on this and stuff like that. But
yeah, of course.
That was stuff.
There we go. And a fun way to wrap up the show then, dude. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on. One time, what are the best social media tags for people to get you on?
So social media at TBAZE. So Instagram, Twitter, everywhere, Snapchat, everywhere really, TBAZE. And my music is available on Spotify, iTunes, everywhere really. So there
we go. We're going to finish up with this one, goes by the name of Stay With Me. This one comes from yourself, Ortsy, Akilados, and of course yourself, as I said before. We'll speak soon. Keep me up to date with the EP, because I'd love to premiere a tune on the show.
All right.
There we go. Right then, guys, we're gonna move forward now. We're gonna jump into this one, then have a conversation with Josh Gunston in a few seconds. Don't go anywhere. We're live on Cubcam TV. It's Brekky in the Cave.
Oh my baby, oh. Yeah. Alquilados más playa. It's your boy, Ortsy. TBaze, yeah. I'm again. Stay with me, yeah, want me. Are you be my queen? Quiero que te quedes hoy de aquí, no te vas. La ropa y los problemas los dejamos atrás. No sabes lo que pasaría si me regalas otro día. Recuerdo el primer día que bonita estabas. Tenías exactamente todo lo que buscaba. Tu forma de hacer, tu forma de hablarme. ¿Cómo me voy a quedar?
quedarme. Tus besos me hacen sentir más fuerte. Te lo tengo bien tatuado en la mente. Prometo que vas a quedarte. Prometo que voy a quedarme. Y si dispuesto a hacer lo que sea, si te quedas.
I'ma get stay with me, yeah, with me. Are you be my queen? Are you be my queen? Come rain, come sunshine. Stay with me, ololufe. Come and dance with me, oh yeah, shake body, oh my baby, yo.
Si te quedas yo me vuelvo indestructible. Si te quedas la pasamos increíble. Baby, si te quedas puede que suceda sucesivamente ese suceso que hace que el mundo se mueva ya. Yo por ti debo ser vagabundo. Ay, por ti hasta una patria yo fundo. Si ser la reina también la princesa. Quedarte debe ser tu promesa. Promete que vas a quedarte. Prometo que voy a quedarme. Tus besos me hacen sentir más fuerte. Te lo tengo bien tatuado en la mente. Prometo que vas a quedarte. Prometo que voy a quedarme. Y si dispuesto a hacer lo que sea, si te quedas.
I'ma get stay with me, yeah, with me. Are you be my queen? Are you be my queen? Come rain, come sunshine. Stay with me, ololufe. Come and dance with me, oh yeah, shake body, oh my baby,
No sabes lo que pasaría si me regalas otro día. Promete que vas a quedarte. Prometo que voy a quedarme. Y si dispuesto a hacer lo que sea, si te quedas.
I'ma get stay with me, yeah, with me. Are you be my queen? Are you be my queen? Come rain, come sunshine. Stay with me, ololufe. Come and dance with me, oh yeah, shake body, oh my baby, yo.
Alquilado,
All right then, my friends, we're back on Cubcam TV. It's Brekky in the Cave, and we are having a fantastic show this morning. Out to TBaze for the last 30 minutes. We're now moving on to our second guest of the day. Man like Josh Gunston joins us for a conversation this morning regarding artist branding, his new project. There's loads of stuff to discuss. How are you doing this morning, bro?
I'm good, thanks, mate. Just like I just said to you, I'm having a bit of a Twitter war right now, but I'm good.
That's what I like to see, though, man. How like, because I can safely say Twitter's definitely not your first platform, is it? It's not the platform you use primarily.
No, it's like I go on it now and then. You know, I delve into it sometimes, occasionally.
So, how are you finding it at the moment?
I quite like Twitter because you can express yourself in different ways rather than just sharing content on Facebook. It's quite hard to making a status with just words is always quite difficult compared to like a tweet. But what I'm finding is I'm just I don't know. I just struggle with Twitter at the moment. There's a lot of hate on Twitter right now. It's not very nice.
It's a lot of hate.
Yeah, it's quite overwhelming actually. Yeah.
But there we go. I'm out to Yaron saying Gunston with an exclamation mark times 2.
Oh, hi, Yaron, you're right.
we got a good group of people locked in this morning. As I said before, please do hit the like button as well. It takes 3 seconds maximum to go and scroll and click it. So click the like button. Does bits for the videos.
Oh. I'll like it now.
There we go. You see, this is what I'm talking about. Even if Gunston's liking it, then you've all got to like it. Let's be real. Right, let's crack on then, because obviously you're a busy boy. You're as busy as me, which is rare to find these days. It's rare to find people in this sort of boat. So how have the last 6 months been? Obviously, you're a friend of the show. You're on quite regularly. So what have the last 6 months been?
It's been a bit mad, to be fair. Like, it's been up and down. Obviously, you know what's been going on, but obviously for people that are listening, it's been I've been living in London, and that's been quite a strange transition. Obviously, I decided to kind of stop doing my own thing and kind of, well, not stop it, but I also decided to go and work for another company as well. And I've been working as a booking agent in London, and obviously things have been quite crazy for the last 6 months because it's pretty much been COVID related. So I guess I think the biggest revelation, though, without sort of saying too much, is that I've decided that London wasn't really for me, and moving back to my hometown, which is Brighton, it's been quite nice. And I think it's been quite an interesting learning experience through this pandemic to kind of realise what I really want from life, and also I don't know, I feel like I've learned a lot about myself. What about you? Would you say the same in the last 6 months?
I'd say as a person, you've definitely become a lot more comfortable in regards to not having to do things 24/7.
Oh no, thank you, but I meant you.
Oh me. I feel exactly the same. I'll be honest with you. I just feel I've got a lovely blossoming YouTube channel now. So I'm in. I think I've definitely discovered that doing YouTube and sort of more video content is what I've wanted to do for a while. And I definitely say COVID has kind of made that a possibility. And yeah, I'd say there's a couple of things along those lines. Like, I think more than anything else, like, you know me, I'm someone who will always like to dive into new things try to learn how to do new things and like new processes and learn new bits of software and stuff like that. And I think it's just kind of confirmed that thing that I believe, like, learning to do things yourself is the best approach. I think that's what it's just confirmed.
Yeah, completely agree. It's a mad. I know. The last 6 months have been literally like madness. I was chatting to one of my friends last night about it. I was just like, things are just insane. But I feel like now, definitely in the music industry as well. But I do feel like now it's that perspective that everyone needed. And I think you sometimes need to take a step back and just like reflect for the last however long. I had to reflect on the last 5 years. Really.
Wow.
I think that was like an important thing. And I think that's, sometimes you just carry on an autopilot and kind of forget where you should be going, and you have to sort of take a little bit of you got to check yourself sometimes and sort of realise what you really want from life. But yeah, sorry to rant, that's just my last 6 months.
Nah, man, I mean we love a rant on this show. It's what we like.
We got to be careful, mate. When you invite me on, mate, we got to be careful. We just talk for hours.
I mean, what obviously you're still involved in management. Obviously, you're still involved in the more booking side of things. Now through work as well.
It's Bush Baby's birthday today, so happy birthday, Bush Baby.
Is it Bush Baby's birthday? I did not know that. There we go. You know what? Just for that, he's getting a nice clap.
Lovely. Beautiful.
Happy birthday. It's a great day as well. It's loads of good news today.
It's raining though.
Is it?
Carry on.
Is it raining? You know what?
You wouldn't know in the cave.
I literally can't see. I've just got two sheets over the window, so that there's no flare. But yeah, I mean, let's kind of look at like kind of the last couple of weeks then in regards to sort of things that have been popping. Obviously, we saw the big news with South Point. It isn't something we really discussed on the show. I kind of brought it up a couple of times, but we saw the big news with South Point being signed with Universal. Like, how have you found that process?
Well, that was probably the maddest thing of the year. But that's because obviously you know this, but that's been on the cards for like a year and a half. So it's been like we've been working towards this for so long, and it's been such a strenuous process of like jumping through hoops to kind of get results. And then, as soon as it came about, it was just such an exciting moment to realise that all that hard work that we've worked towards has sort of paid off. But obviously the journey's only just begun. So I feel, to be honest with you, when it first happened, I felt really excited for one day. Yeah, I remember I was like, yeah, I'm a guest. Like, selector, let's go. And I was so excited, made a status, the usual, like, and then after one day I was like, oh no.
Oh, there's so much to do. Oh my god.
Now this is like when this journey really starts. Now we've got to like put so much work in. We've got to like outshine the last 5 years. So it's been good, but I think it's also good to challenge ourselves. But I think this is like the proper step up now. We've got to step up properly.
I was gonna say there was a period around then. I don't know if it was because COVID was happening at the same time and Facebook had boosted something, but I tell you what, the likes that were flying around on those statuses.
The pressure. But it just adds some pressure. Because suddenly I was just like, oh, there's like 500 people now. Now we have to do good. We have to step it up. Otherwise people are going to be like, oh, they kind of flopped those boys, didn't they? Yeah. So we have to just like, now it's like the pressure's on. Like, it's quite scary. Like,
fully,
the limelight,
Fully. Okay, let's kind of move on then. Let's have a little bit of a crack on with what we're going to be doing primarily today, because obviously I'm doing a lot of these shows as sort of like artist help sessions to an extent. Obviously we've had a couple of social media sort of masterclasses which have somehow like stretched into around the 30-minute window. I don't know how you can do that, but somehow we managed to pull it off. We've had a discussion with Sharon Rose as well about sort of do's and don'ts when you're getting into the early stages of music law as an independent artist. Now obviously you are someone who is very much known for the artist management side of things, and as well as that, more specifically known for how you can kind of pull off branding with artists. Like, when did you kind of realise this is something that you were quite passionate about?
I think when I was at uni doing music business, and we were like looking at different products and projects, and I remember like a lot of my lecturers showing me stuff and explaining what this particular brand was, for example, and I remember just looking at some of these brands like just kind of criticizing them in my head and thinking, oh, I would do it like this, I would make it better, I would change it like this to reflect the audience more or reflect what they're trying to do more. And I think like I did a whole module based on it as well, and my lecturer ended up sort of sitting me down to one side and was just like, I think you've got a really good eye for brands because you've kind of reworked a lot of these real key music brands so quickly, and I'm quite impressed. And I think that conversation sparked this kind of reaction in my head where I was like, oh, maybe I am like good at building stuff. And I remember, obviously this is after we had started South Point anyway, but I think that was when it kind of hit me, and I started to look at different artists, especially at first, like different artist profiles, and just like look at what they were trying to achieve and accomplish. I remember looking at them just being like, it's not like doing what it should be doing. Like there's so much that needs to be done. And I think that was the kind of brainwave I needed to realize that maybe this is something I'm quite good at. But, you know, I'm not going to claim I'm the best, but I think it is something that I've got quite a natural eye for, I think, just like a lot of people have that with lots of different things, you know?
Definitely, man. And I think that this is where the industry becomes quite entertaining and interesting, I feel, because there are people who are specifically good at loads of different things. Like there are like unique skill sets for certain positions, i.e. branding, i.e. even something like copywriting is quite a unique kind of skill set to have, which is something I kind of follow. You know, like there's so many different...
Sorry to interrupt, yeah. I completely agree. Like, I think with copywriting as well, that's such a forgotten trait. People don't think about that. They don't think about their tone of voice when it comes to social media.
Definitely, man. And there's so many different things like that, and you can get into the technical side with sort of mastering and mixing and, like, co-producing and all these different things. You can get into the artwork side of things.
There's layers.
There's so many layers to this sort of, to the industry as a scenario, and I think branding is something that actually, to an extent, almost kind of combines all of them, because it's it's what people think of you to an extent. It's how you put yourself across. It's how you are represented by the character you portray to an extent. Like
it's the glue. It's the glue, mate. Branding's the glue that holds everything together.
Wicked. I think that's the kind of way I've been thinking about it anyway. And I think what we were going to do on this show is kind of look through a few do's, a few don'ts that you've kind of noticed over the years. And obviously, it's a constantly changing scene, so we're going to try and keep this as like sort of baseline as possible. Not baseline as in the genre, but baseline as in things that you can always rely on, like over the. That's an annoying double entendre of words.
Yeah,
I've got to say.
Mate, I know.
But yeah, let's kind of look at this. So let's kind of look at let's start off with a few bad ones, so we can finish on the good ones. Like, what are some things you've noticed over the past few years that people do that just doesn't work?
I think like a lot of the time when someone's creating a brand, you need to establish from the get-go if it's going to be based on you personally, like if your individual personality is going to be on this brand, or if it's going to be a complete separate entity that you want to kind of keep separate to you as an individual. A lot of people get those lines very blurred, and they start to kind of, their personality is very much reflected into the brand. Sometimes that works well if that's part of the what you actually want to be achieving through the brand, but a lot of the time it just kind of adds a lot of like dilution to the whole overall project, and I think it just ruins everything about it. So for example, some artists will, you know, they'll use their brand as a way of sort of like putting across points that they would personally agree with. And I don't even mean like on the political spectrum, it's just in general, like a lot of the time you see people use their artist pages and the way they write copy, the way they write their posts, it's almost worded like it's them personally. It just doesn't really work that way. You have to kind of establish from the get-go, like, if you're going to be a separate entity to your brand. It's just a very important thing to remember when first starting out.
Definitely. And I think as well, when is the sort of time as an artist where this becomes essential? Like I honestly think like as
early as possible though, because like even for example, I'm not going to talk about this too early, but like I'm starting a new brand right now, a new project. I'm already establishing now. I haven't even launched it, but I'm like, well, it needs to be this, this, and this. It can't be a reflection of me. It can be. It's a product by me, but I want to make sure my personality isn't infused with the brand. The brand needs to stand the test of time and be its own entity. Do you see what I mean? So I think as early as possible. I think it's worse if you start out for a year or two and then you start to change your brand entirely, because people have already bought the original branding. At that point, you might as well just carry on doing what you do. But I think there's like a shelf life a lot of the time when brands are too associated with the person, because that person will always change. That means the brand will always change, which is good in some sense, but really like a brand needs to be consistent and grow at the right time. not just based on when a person decides to kind of change, if you know what I'm trying to say.
Of course, man. I think as well, like with yourself, obviously you're someone that, as we know, is very keen on this side of things and keen on making things come across the right way. Like, what would you say from your experience has been the most difficult one to get right in regards to sort of artwork and logos and all these different elements? What part of branding is the most difficult bit to get right?
Well, firstly, artwork and videos are the easiest parts of a brand. Like the actual design and art style is the easiest thing. I mean, not to design. Sorry, let me just explain that. Not to design, because that's a whole different thing. But deciding on how the brand's going to look, that's the easy part. That's like the aesthetic. That's just like another thing. Like the hardest part is the storytelling aspect. The hardest part is like, what are we and what do you want? You got to start with why, then you go on to what, and you go on to how. It's the golden circle. I told you about this before. Like, this is the three layers of like an overall brand. It's working out what your journey is meant to be. Like, why are you doing this? What are you trying to achieve, and how are you going to achieve it? I think it's very much like the aesthetic, the actual like, branding aesthetic is the easy part. It's about how you're going to glue it all together, because that's what branding really is. So again, for example, like tone of voice. How are we going to be communicating to our fans? Like, are we going to be quite funny, quite upbeat? Are we going to be quite cold, quite robotic, quite formal? Like, there's different ways to come across. Some brands, like, you know, you can always tell, like, for example, like a brand like ITV or BBC is always going to be quite formal, almost quite robotic in its way of kind of its tone of voice. Whereas like a young bassline producer who's quite upbeat, quite fun, you see him on like in camera just jumping around on stage and stuff, their tone of voice is going to be quite fun, quite like outgoing, quite informal, just like, it's quite jokey. You have to kind of establish what you really want to be from the get-go. So I think that's the hardest bit to get right, because for a lot of people, they don't really know what they want, and it's a lot of trial and error as well. People try one thing, then they try something else, and they can't really decide, and it is really difficult to work that out. I think that's I mean, it's almost like a bit of a metaphor for life as well when you look at it, because it's kind of like that's literally it.
A lot of the time you find people kind of growing up going, oh, I don't really know what I want to do in life, and that's literally identical to the idea of what I want to do with my branding.
Mate, that's honestly like branding. I say it's like glue, but it's essentially like branding is like, if you look at your own life and look at parts of your life you don't like, parts of your life that you like, and you do more stuff that you like, that's kind of like when you look at a brand, you have to like trim off the fat almost. Where you sort of look at parts of the brand, you think, does this work? Does this not work? It's not working anymore. Like, you know, it's the same for real life. You look at like, if you've got toxic mates and you're like, oh, I want to cut away from that person, or if things aren't working out with something, you want to sort of move on and do something new. Like, it's the same thing. Branding is, I think that's why I understood branding at such a young age, because, well, I say young age, I was like 20. But the point is that like when I started to get into branding properly, I kind of saw the relation to like an actual person, and for someone who's gone through a lot of mental health, this is going to sound so random, but from going through like a lot of mental health issues and having to like trim parts of my life or like do new things in my life to make things work better, when we started talking about branding, I almost saw like a parallel between like dealing with your life and mental health and dealing with a brand and how to improve a brand. There is such a parallel there that it sounds unbelievable me saying it out loud on the phone, but I hope you understand where I'm coming from.
Yeah, of course, man. And I hope everyone locking in as well is able to kind of gauge where we're coming from on this. One time, people, if you are locked in, please hit that like button. It takes less than a second to do it. It improves the video views dramatically. So then let's switch this around then. Let's look at some sort of good examples of things you've seen. Like, what's a good, what have you seen branding wise that has kind of stuck with you as being good over the past sort of, let's say, 2 to 3 years?
Just simplicity, just knowing what you want. Message is clear. It's all about the messaging. If your messaging is clear, bang, you've done it. You've literally you've passed the trials. Like, but getting to that point is so difficult. Do you see what I mean? But for a lot of people, they know what they want. They know what they're going to achieve. They want to do this, this, and this. So their initial messaging is this, this, and this, and it's just like, cool. This is what we're going to move towards. And you see them on social media. That's just, and by the way, you know, social media is just one strand of this, but you see them on social media, they come across efficiently, it's very effective messaging, you know exactly what they're trying to achieve and who they are as an individual or as a brand, and it just works, and their whole branding all ties into that message. Their artwork might be simple, like the way they kind of market themselves might be simple, like it just works really cohesively, and I think a lot of the time that's the best type of branding, someone that just knows what they want, simple messaging, I want to do this, so I'm going to be this, this, and this. Bang, that's it, done. Like, it sounds complicated when you look at the bigger picture, but when you do break it all down, it is as simple as that. It's literally as simple as that.
There we go. I mean, these are the nuggets I like grabbing from people on this show, man. I love getting these little smidgens of information. I think as well sometimes what I've noticed is when you see things like this written down, you kind of go, yeah, but when you hear someone actually discuss it and talk about it and break it down a little bit further, it tends to make a lot more sense.
Well, let me just like to make it make even more sense in like a 1 minute analogy. Like I'll just discuss another brand, like a very popular brand, like a brand like Innocent Smoothies. Like, okay, this is not in particular to music, but you have to just look at their overall messaging here. They were like, we just want to make a smoothie, like, as cheap as possible and just with the easiest ingredients. Like, it just makes sense. We can do that. So they called themselves Innocent, for one, which kind of makes sense. They literally branded themselves as just like, yeah, we just put fruit in our smoothie, bang, and we just bottle it and sell it. Like, it's so simple, yet so effective. Their marketing all tied into that general messaging. The aesthetic was so simple. Their entire marketing campaign had always been so simple. It's only now, like, 15 years later that, like, you might have, there's like loads of different products that they've got, like variants, but that happens in any kind of like food and that sort of industry anyway.
Once you hit sort of an exponential point, that's like a naturally occurring thing.
Yeah, you look at like Coca-Cola and you look at like toothpaste brands like Colgate, for example. Like they're all the same. But what happens is that as a consumer, you get bored of like the standard Colgate, so you buy another one and another one. They're all the same, but it's just to keep. There's like 28 varieties, but they're all the same thing. Do you know what I mean? But like, so yeah, with what I'm trying to say, like Innocent Smoothies, simple branding, like just very, very simple. I would talk about an artist, but I think it's easier just to sort of look at like an actual brand that's not related to music and just realise how simple things could actually be.
Of course, man. And then it's just, I think the difficult thing of that though, obviously, would be how to transfer that into a musical sense. But then, as you say, it could be a lot simpler than it appears.
Thing is, like, people do try and make things so complicated, you know? Like, there's a lot of complication out there with people. And I think, like, it's just understanding what you really want from the music game, yeah? Because there's a lot of artists that come through and just do bits. Like, a recent artist, for example, is like, you know, Particle, for example, drum and bass, right? So you look at, like, Particle, you know, that's an Alias project in itself, and essentially came through, I'm making drum and bass, I'm making this dark sound, this is what I'm going to do. Dark, moody pressures, really blunt, blunt messaging on the socials. So the tone of voice straight away was just like quite cold and reserved. Kind of relates back to that I'm producing dark drum and bass. And then kind of like you see that in all the different layers. That is like the messaging overall throughout the whole brand. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah,
and even someone like, you know, someone like Bush Baby, who wants to be quite experimental, wants to like tackle dance music as a whole. You know, that wasn't the original messaging, but we changed that. And, you know, gone were the days when we were quite fun and quite upbeat. And then actually, you know, Harry, you know, Bush Baby got to a point where he just wasn't really enjoying social media as much. And I was like, well, that's just part of the brand then, isn't it? There's no point lying to ourselves and pretending that we like socials still. Let's just not use socials as much. And that's still essentially part of the brand. It doesn't ruin our image anyway less. So I think it's important to look at every layer of what you really want to do and just kind of work out how you're going to achieve it, and not to be afraid to just do what you feel's right.
Definitely, man. I mean, this is all pretty enlightening stuff. And the interesting thing about it as well is obviously the comparisons that can be made to like sort of classic marketing examples. You can draw serious comparisons very, very easily.
I mean, yeah, I would say so. It's like I'm very like aware that I might just be rambling though at the same time, because it's very hard to discuss branding over the phone and sort of like in a very brief amount of time. But I mean, yeah, you can compare it to like larger things. I mean, branding is such a complicated thing, like, but it applies to so much in life. Every single thing as a consumer that we do is based on branding. Every single thing we do, whether we buy, you know, Tesco value food or a brand which is an extra £2 more, but probably not as good and probably the same amount of quality, but we as a consumer base it on the colours and the aesthetic and how it looks, and like, what does that brand symbolise to us? Why do you buy Colgate toothpaste? Why do you buy Arm & Hammer? Why do you buy certain deodorant brands? Or why do you, like, you know, you might buy something and it's the same exact thing as something else, but you always buy the brand because it's that trust. It's that, you know, you trust the brand. So I think there's so many different layers, and it does all apply to music still. Like, why do you listen to music? You trust it. When people think about like Fatboy Slim, it's like there's that trust there, there's that nostalgia, there's that kind of like general sense of like belonging and like unity and like freedom. He used all those words, like, and it doesn't, you don't understand why, but when you look at the deep roots of that brand, it all makes sense. Do you see what I mean? And there's some artists that are the complete opposite. So you have to look at like the world around you first before you start building a brand in a certain industry. Look at the whole world first and look at different things in your life that entice you and things that you would choose to buy over other things, or things that you just are naturally drawn to and think, okay, that's really interesting. Why am I drawn to that? How can I make people drawn to me as a brand?
Okay, cool. So I think the thing we're getting to here is it's an art form as much as anything else.
Oh, mate, I think that's why I fell in love with it so much. I think it's just like, it is literally like, it's so creative. You could do anything. And I think all my jobs that I've had have all been based around branding ever since I left Tesco back in 2017. Ever since then, all my jobs have been based around branding, and it's been like this really exciting, creative experience where I've worked in so many different places now and just been able to kind of sit down and look at their brand. And some companies have said to me like, oh, what can we do differently here? And it's like, well, let me tell you what we could do differently here. And it's so exciting because there's so much potential for any brand out there. There's so much potential of what you can do. Like, the world is literally your oyster. It just depends how you play it,
There we go. Well, we've got one more thing to discuss before we finish up, which is obviously the new project you are working on. Obviously, it's still in the sort of creation stage. It hasn't been properly launched yet. Alpha. That's what we're going for. But yeah, do you want to talk me through it quickly? Just give us a brief overview.
Yeah, I will. Yeah, it's how long? We've got 4 minutes, right? So it's been like I'm basically setting up a non-profit organisation. That's what it is at the moment, right? It's still a brand, but it's called Gamers United Against Racism and Discrimination. So, the acronym is GUARD. And I think, for me, this kind of came about because, well, with the recent, like, BLM stuff going on, it makes you realise that there's so many other industries in the world and so many other things in the world that are still quite inherently backwards and do need to change. So for me, like, for years I've but I've witnessed racism and like sexism and bigotry via the online gaming community. It's still quite rife in areas, not everyone, but there's areas of it especially. And I think like it just needs to change, because as a kid, I think my first experience of hearing something racist and something quite uncomfortable was while playing a game. I was like 8 or 9 years old, and I think, gamers are getting younger now. They're like 5 and 6 playing Fortnite, and anyone can say anything over that mic. So I feel like, and it's just not a deterrent. Like if I join like a server in a gaming community and I have a really rude name and a very, very offensive name, I'm not going to get banned. I'm not going to get kicked. I'll probably just get a flag saying you need to change your name. There's no deterrent. There's no like, but if I walk down the street with a sign with the same word on it, I could probably get arrested. So I feel like there's just not enough accountability in the gaming world. And I think what I'm trying to start now is just a unified movement where I can kind of just help promote equality in the gaming industry as much as possible, mainly in the gaming community, not necessarily the industry, because that's a whole different board game. But just the idea of people coming together. I would love to play a game one day and not fear that someone's going to come out of a real disgusting racist thing and nothing's going to be done about it, or someone's going to come out of something really sexist and nothing's going to be done about it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I can't wait for the days where I can just play a game and won't have to experience that, and maybe our kids one day can do the same. That'd be quite nice.
Definitely.
That's one day. I don't really, to be honest though, this is the exciting thing about branding. It's great, but I have no idea what I'm going to do. Like, I'm still working out what I'm going to do with this. I've paid all this stuff, I've got all this stuff ready, but I'm like, what am I actually going to do with it? I don't know. But that's the fun of it, I guess, just working out how I'm going to utilise it.
Of course, man. And I think as well, obviously, with everything that's currently going on, it's definitely something that really hasn't been discussed anywhere in the news. I've barely seen any of it online. I think it's a very good thing. I've got to say, like the idea of actually going, hang on, there's a big issue here. We need to actually address this as much as anything else.
I'll tell you one thing before we finish up. Like, the exciting thing is I made a status about it, yeah. And someone messaged me and was like, oh, I'm best friends with Sam Houser at Rockstar, president of Rockstar. So I've got a meeting with Sam Houser next week. Meant to be this week, but now it's next week. And he's like my biggest idol. Like, Rockstar Games is like one of my favourite companies. Meeting with him. I've got a meeting potentially locked in with my friend works at an esports company, very, very big worldwide esports company. And she's hopefully going to set me up with them. I've already been connected to a festival in Berlin, gaming festival. I'm sort of connected with Creative Assembly, which is known for the Total War games, based in Chichester. So I'm connected with them. So what I'm doing, I'm just building this network, and I'm building this brand now, so I can approach these individuals and approach these companies and just say, what can you do more? Like, what can you do to really create more of a deterrent here with your online services? What can you do to really increase and sort of really kind of make sure that there's accountability for these people's actions. And also, how can you, would you be happy to sort of almost fly this flag to show that you're standing with God, in the industry, and you're actually here to try to promote the right thing in the industry. That's kind of what I want to achieve. So we'll kind of see how it goes, but I'm just going to play it by ear,
Yeah, man. I think definitely it's a very good thing to be pushing forward for, and I think realistically, I think the setting up of these sort of projects and these initiatives are going to be quite essential moving forward in regards to actually making a genuine change and making changes and keeping the changes in place.
Yeah, for real. I think it's again, it's just like, it's one of those things. We'll have to just see what happens. I hope I can try and make a change here, but I'm also very afraid, mate. I'll tell you one thing, because as soon as I was setting this up, I walked to the beach, and I was having a cigarette at the beach, and I was like, what am I about to set myself up for? Because if this backfires, the amount of hate that is still very much rife in the gaming communities, will I get hacked? Will people I know be victims to fraud and horrible abuse online? Because people won't like me trying to stand up for the right thing. People hate that. People hate being told what to do. So I'm a bit afraid of the repercussions, but I think that's just part of it. I need to try and make a change, and I'd just rather try and make a change now rather than any other time.
Okay, cool. Well, I think that's pretty much just what we've all got time for here on the show. We're running a couple of minutes over, but it's fine. It's my show. I can do what I want.
Sorry, bro.
No, it's all good. I want to get as much in as possible. Josh, it's been a genuine pleasure to have you on the show. What are the best socials for people to get you on?
To be fair, I'm just sort of on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, so just Josh Gunston, everyone. It's just nice and simple.
There we go. Right then, we're going to finish up by playing a newish one from Bush as we finish off. This one, Empty Again. Really cool tune, this one. I've been loving this one on different...
Love it, mate.
It's really cool bit of music to finish us up today. I'm going to run through the chat. Massive shouts out to Yaron, out to Max as well. Josh, oh yeah, you are. Hello. Out to Quentin McBullwinkle, one of the best names I've ever seen on this show. Out to Girl Chat, LDN, out to Gander, out to JD Sandy as well, and the 3000 Bass crew, of course, and everyone else who has been locked in. If it's your first time locking in, please do make sure you are hitting the subscribe button. Hit like on the video as well. Makes a huge difference to the reach of the show. And tune in tomorrow. We've got an amazing one on the way. We've got Taylor J, Livesy, and Azaria joining us for a 3-part special. It's going to be a wicked show, and there is a new Drill Around the World video dropping this evening as well. So keep your eyes peeled, keep it locked to Cubcam TV, and we will be seeing you next time. Don't go anywhere, my friends. Peace.
I don't wanna feel your touch if it comes to your again. I wanna feel your touch if it comes to your again. I wanna feel your touch if it comes to your again. I wanna feel your touch if it comes to your again. I wanna feel your touch if it's comes to your again. I wanna feel your touch if it's comes to your again. I wanna feel your touch if it's comes to your again. I wanna feel your touch if it's comes to your again. I wanna feel your touch if it's from again. Feel you from again. Feel you from again. Feel you from again. Touch if it's from again. Feel you from again. Feel you from again. Feel you from. I wanna feel your touch if it's from again. Feel you from again. Feel you from again. Feel you from again. Touch if it's from again. Feel you from again. Feel you from again. Feel you from again. If it's empty again, I don't wanna feel your touch if it's empty again. I don't wanna feel your touch if it's empty again. I don't wanna feel your touch if it's empty again. I don't wanna feel your touch if it's empty again. I don't wanna feel your touch if it's empty again. I don't wanna feel your touch if it's empty again. I don't wanna feel your touch if it's empty again. If it's again.
if it's